Andrew McCart, IFLTV, delighted to be joined by Troy Williamson again. Troy, first and foremost, mate, how's things? Before we get into the nitty gritty, how's life?
Yeah, life's good. Over in Denmark at the minute, starting camp. First week back in the gym, so very cold here, colder than what it is in the UK. But apart from that, it's all good.
Well, you're over there sparring. I said to you before I pushed record, it's like you just won the European, British, and Commonwealth titles before Christmas, and now it's January. You're in Denmark sparring. I mean, do you ever take a day off, mate, or you just love the game this much?
Nah, do you know what? That 5 weeks ago since we won, so I had 2 weeks off, longer than what I usually do. And yeah, I got back in the gym, just taking over. But this is my first week back properly.
Well, obviously, you're back in camp, obviously, because a couple of days ago, multiple news sources were saying that Callum Simpson and his team have triggered the rematch clause with yourself. Um, Before we get into it, man, you were this close. It seems like you were this close to maybe fighting for the world title against Oslei's Ingleses for the IBF world title. So, what's your emotions right now, knowing that this rematch clause has been triggered and you might have to fight Callum Simpson for the second time?
I knew about the rematch. Obviously, that was in the contract. They wouldn't fight me unless they had a rematch clause in the contract. The first fight, so we always knew about that, and we always knew that obviously when I did win, that there was a potential rematch. But I didn't think he would activate it the way the beating went down, the way I won the fight. It wasn't close. So if it was close, I could understand it, but it wasn't. I know that he killed himself to make the weight, so in another 4 or 5 months when the rematch does happen, like he's going to obviously kill himself again. You get big as the days go on. So I think it's stupid on their behalf. If I'm honest, it's going to be really hard to come back coming off 2 knockout losses. So that's my take on it.
You know yourself. You said to me before the fight, I think it was at the press conference, you mentioned his weight. You said that you know personally what it's like to make weight and fight at a weight that you shouldn't be fighting at. And that's where you've got your losses. You understand how difficult it is to cut weight and fight at that weight. Do you feel that's what Callum Simpson is doing right now? Is he's cutting too much weight to fight at a weight? You think he should move up?
Yeah, 1 million%. Like boxing's a small circle. Everybody knows everyone. Like we had the same nutritionist going back in. When did I box Josh Kelly? 2021, 2022. So we're talking 3 years on now. And back then, the nutritionist was saying that he's got another fighter on his books called Callum Simpson, and he's basically like myself, killing himself to do the weight. And that was 3 years ago. So I can imagine it's only going to get tougher and tougher now as the years are going on. So I know exactly what it's like. You're unhappy in boxing, you don't enjoy boxing, you don't enjoy life, you've got no social life, and when you actually do make the weight and box, it takes 75% of yourself away. Like you're not the same person. You've got no explosiveness, your fitness ain't there, punch resistance isn't there. Unfortunately, I didn't get stopped or anything like that there, but I did get put down against Mason Cartwright, and that's when I knew really I should have moved up, but I didn't. So stayed at the weight a little bit too long. Um, yeah, now I've moved up 2 weights, strong as ever, and he's obviously on a downward slope like how I was.
Do you think going into the rematch that how do you see the rematch going? Obviously, the first fight wasn't a 10 and it was good, and you got him there. I think it was the 10th round, was it? That you got to him a little bit and you knocked him down 4 times. Now, if the rematch does happen, are you envision the same thing happening? Another stoppage win for yourself?
Yeah, I think it'll go earlier. I think it'll go a lot earlier. I don't see it. Genuinely don't see it going past 6 rounds. Been in with him now. I know exactly what he's got, what he can give, and it's not a lot to be fair. I've heard that he's changed trainers. I don't think that's going to help. Like, you can't make massive changes in what 3 or 4 months, 2 or 3 months. So yeah, just like you say, if it does happen, we need a date ASAP. Hopefully, get a date this week. I don't want to be waiting around too long. I want to be out at the end of March, beginning of April. Hopefully, I've got a baby on the way, due in 8 weeks. So sooner the better for me. I'll be ready to go in 8, 9, 10 weeks.
You- Do you respect Callum in the sense that, in your own words, it was a beatdown, the first fight? Do you respect the fact that, as a fighter, he's willing to jump back in there and try and right that wrong?
Yeah, definitely. I would do the same
Mhm.
if I had the opportunity with my losses, but unfortunately, I didn't get to do that. There was no rematch clause in the contracts. But yeah, probably like I'm glad it didn't because I know what it was like making weight. I was killing myself. So if I did go into a rematch with all my losses, possibly might not have won again because obviously due to the weight issue. So I think it's a stupid decision on his behalf and his team's because, like you say, he's going to get knocked out again, and then where does he go from there with two back-to-back knockouts?
For you though, I mean, you were if there was talks that you were going to fight Ingleses for the IBF World Title. Now, are you frustrated, annoyed the fact that they've triggered the rematch? Because again, Adam, well, I'm not going to imagine. It's every fighter's dream to either fight and win a world title. And I'm guessing that's the same as you. So the fact that you were this close to fighting for a world title, maybe in your next fight, but now you're going to have to revisit the Cam Simpson fight. It looks like. What's your emotions right now? Are you frustrated, pissed off? How are you feeling?
I was, but life goes on. It's just obviously it's going to have to get put on hold at the minute. If the rematch does happen, I'll take care of Callum again, and then hopefully get the rematch. Then hopefully get the IBF Champion. So yeah, I was a little bit peed off, but like I said, life goes on. I've had bumps in the road before. I've overcome them, and this is just another thing that I'll overcome. This is just a minor. Smash Callum up again, and then go for the world title.
Do you does Troy Williamson win a world title this year?
Yeah, I believe so. 1,000,000% I do believe so. All the titles are vacant, so there's a lot of opportunities out there. And I'm highly ranked in the all governing bodies. I've beat two very good fighters in my last two fights at this weight, and like I said previously, I'm only getting better. Like there's plenty more to come at 168 pounds from me. So I really believe that I'll win a world title this year.
Do you think if the Eddie Hearn will be ringside for this the rematch this time? Are you
I
hoping that
hope
Eddie Hearn will
so.
be?
Yeah, I hope so. The last one was for him. Uh, Obviously, I know him and Ben have the differences. The differences. Ben Strom said something to me before the fight about sparring Eubank and Ben, which pissed me off really. It wasn't really professional, but yeah, I hope Eddie's there and he can witness it with his own eyes of me giving Callum another beatdown.
Well, have you signed with Eddie? I know, like you when Eddie messaged, I messaged Eddie after the fight and said, "Have you signed Troy?" He says, "You've signed him." Have you put pen to paper with Matchroom?
No, no. I know what Matchroom did do is they had it was a two fight deal after the
Mhm.
Mark Dickinson fight. So Callum was the first fight. They've obviously got one more deal with me. But that's it. They haven't signed me
Right.
as a promoter. So I would like that because like there's some great fights in the northeast, some great talent in the northeast, and but I'm the ticket seller in the northeast. I do a lot of tickets, and we could bring a big fight to the northeast.
Well, obviously, you're hoping that he will be there for the rematch with Cam Simpson. If he is there and you do get the win again, are you just going to bring your pen and say, "Eddie, where's that contract?"
Um, and I know that he knows that I'm going to get the job done, so hopefully he brings his own pen, and he offers me it.
Good stuff. I like to hear it. I just want to touch on something as well. Your last fight, you had a bit of paper. Now, remind me what that bit of paper said that you carried around with you.
Yeah, I wrote it on the 28th of October last year, and it just said, I will become British, Commonwealth, and European champion on December the 20th. I will knock out Callum Simpson. Hashtag I'm the new. And I read it to myself. No, this is no bullshit. Every time I jumped in the car, it was in me, my sun visor. Pulled the sun visor down and I read it to myself before I started the engine, drove away. And I was getting in my car 3 or 4 times a day, going to the gym, going wherever, going for food, going to my mum's. And every time I got in the car, I read it 3 or 4 times a day and just visualized it every single day, manifested it over and over again. And on December the 20th, I knocked out Callum Simpson and I became the British Commonwealth and European champion.
The next question is then, Troy, do you have you got another bit of paper? Have you got a new bit of paper? Is there a new goal?
Yeah, he's a new goal. Set goals all the time. And then obviously when I reach him, I set another goal and another goal. So the goal's endless. I believe that I can go all the way in the sport at this weight. I think you've got to believe, otherwise what is the point? So I've got a lot of self belief. I've got a great team behind me who back me 100%. So yeah, the world's my oyster.
Definitely. And like I say, the hopefully the new year starts off with another great fight with Callum Simpson. I was ringside for that fight. It was a fun fight to watch. So fingers crossed I can get to the second fight between the two of you because like I say, it was a fun fight to watch. One final one from me, Troy, before I let you go. When the rematch does happen, what's happening?
I knocked Callum Simpson out cold. No stoppage. The referee doesn't try to save him by letting him get up 4 or 5 times in a round. Yeah, it's going to be decisive and it's going to be very punishing.
Well, Troy, like I say, hopefully I'm there for the rematch. I won't keep you much longer because, like I say, I know you're out in camp in Denmark. You say it's absolutely freezing cold. I hope you do some cold water therapy out there, jump in the lakes in Denmark somewhere.
We've got the shower, which I don't think has got no heating because this is real life Rocky shit. This the shower's stone cold, doesn't go hot, so I had to have a cold shower this morning. We went to the supermarket yesterday. I bought some milk. What I thought was milk, it was natural yogurt, so I had to have natural yogurt and oats. It was yeah, it was
You're
not
living
a
the
great
dream, Troy.
start.
Listen, you're living the
Yeah.
dream. Let's say that.
I've been in better camps. But,
Yeah.
you know what? This is what makes champions coming away from home, being what's the word? Being uncomfortable
Out your
and
comfort
being
zone, yeah.
comfortable in
Yeah.
uncomfortable situations. This
Hmm.
is what makes champions. I've done it all my career, and we continue to do so.
Definitely, Troy. Well, listen. Hopefully, you've got a good few fights left in your career, and then one day you can retire and put milk on your oats and get a hot shower. All right, brother.
Yeah.
Troy, appreciate you, man. I'll speak to you soon, my man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andy. Cheers, mate. Thank
Cheers,
you.
brother. Thank you.